Hey, good afternoon. This is about the Taurus New Moon, which is tomorrow at approximately almost 2 o'clock Central Daylight Time. And it's a bit, Taurus is concentrated, a fixed Earth. And so it's about the material world. And, all of the Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you're here to make the spirit, which is the sun, matter. Okay? And so, yeah, you may be more cautious, ponderous, methodical, but it's only because you want that dream, that vision to come down to earth. And with Neptune very strongly placed in Pisces, you've got this Oshun kind of flowy, joyous, hopeful energy of Taurus. We're at the beginning, middle of spring in Western system, but and then Neptune is ocean, so much like Yemenjah, the source of life. But it's that aspect of that can be the rougher side of that, which is Olokun. Now, in this new moon is Uranus is also a part of it. So not only do we have the Neptune in Pisces, which is kind of spiritualizing our values, spiritualizing what really matters, with the Taurus energy. And we have the opportunity, the intellectual visionary opportunity to use the Neptunian energy as long as we use Uranus first, because Uranus is 84 years to go around the solar system. Neptune's 164, 165. So when we're dealing with evolutionary astrology, what we're looking at is how our soul inserts or brings itself into our life where we can begin to operate from the principles of what did I learn from this lesson? What are we getting from these setbacks or even these joyous parts? A lot of times, though, with Taurus and also the Earth signs, there can be pessimism or even cynicism that's masquerading as I'm just keeping it real. Well, the interesting thing about where we are as development as a species and with this new moon is that the Neptune basically says, whether you like it or not, ego, we're in this together. That what you do, the butterfly effect, the hundredth monkey effect, all of these different metaphysical principles, they make a difference in terms of not just having the tactile, sensual, my values, my money, what I have, what's important to me. Neptune and Uranus shows up as Oya, the irresistible force meets with immovable object. Okay, and so what ends up happening is something's got to give. Well, the outer planets from Saturn on, our egos have to bend and adapt. And since it's a fixed or concentrated sign which doesn't change direction easily, the Uranian energy are those seemingly shocks, sort of like the Tower card in the Tarot deck. Now, this new moon is also under the number 11, so we're going to have a lot of angelic downloads, truth drops, because 11s and 29 in numerology are, hey, what are you doing about your genius? What's really going on that level? About getting away from conforming your values to others, but figuring out ways to deal with what's in front of you. And if there are losses, the losses are directly related to what you no longer need to hold on to. What maybe you've been holding dear is no longer dear. And so there is a wounding as well as a healing with a Chiron Mars square from Aries to Cancer. So it's important with Chiron and Aries that we recognize we have the right to exist, that there's something about our individual spirit that can actually get us to speak up about what's important to us and then recognizing how it's important, what's important to others. So the Neptunian energy is going to give you the empathic self and show you where you might be self-deluded. The Uranian energy is going to break with conformity or where you're going along to get along and not really living out your true authentic values. And how do you know if you are? Well, you can look at how you deal with the material world. It's the love or the over attachment to money, to the physical body, to status, to those things that you think matter, but without a corresponding association with the fellow feeling energy, then Neptune dissolves the ego, dissolves those tribal connections that the moon represents. Because new moon's a new beginning, starts. And Taurus is sensual, it's about the physical world of the five senses. Well, Uranus says that there's more to the world than what we may have been told. Shock. Neptune gives you the dreams or the heightened intuitions and the really, and so there's, and then Pluto in Capricorn has been adjusting and transforming our institutions, our laws, our status, and how we deal with hierarchy and the patriarchy since 2008. And so that's a longer term transit. And so Pluto in Capricorn supporting the Taurus New Moon is saying you can methodically look at how you can adjust humbly, selflessly, while holding true to your values, holding true to what really matters to you, but at the same time recognizing your ideals, those ways life should be. But the should is not the important aspect. It's the ability to see yourself as as part of something larger, something bigger than yourself. It reminds me of that movie about 20 plus years ago with Goldie Hawn and Diane Keaton and Bette Midler called First Wives Club. The character that killed herself, played by Stockard Channing, they decided to set up a foundation because there was, the unspoken hidden suicide energy. And I got on my Be Kind shirt or cap, which goes to a foundation that deals with bullying and teen suicide. And basically, they started to bicker when they were too egocentric, too narrowly focused. So, but once they went into the ideal of helping others, Uranus shocks, Neptune dissolves, and Pluto transforms the ego to make it broader. Doesn't destroy or suppress the ego. I can make a really strong argument, the lawyer that I am, that once you recognize your larger universality, the more individual you can be, because then you have more moving room. So to recap, we've got a very strong Mars Ogun energy, and I'm in my green and black, so there's the determined introvert that Mars is transiting Cancer. He's over there talking to wounded healer Chiron. So there's a lot of light in individuality, a lot of energy and drive and assertion with our families, and recognizing that Saturn in Aquarius is about the broader reforms that we all need to make as planetary citizens. And then we've got the Jupiter at the very last degree of Aquarius, because he's about to return home into Pisces on the 13th. And so there's the looking at what can you do for others, those that are underdog or homeless, or those that really have their lives have been shattered and uprooted because of COVID, or just because of just the fact that we have to change the nature of work in our Western industrialized societies. So understand new moon, new beginning. It's 11, so where's your genius? Shattering the conforming energies. Please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Quan Tracy Cherry, YouTube, because I want to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can do this live. Beliefisnotrequired.com is the website. And then I'm doing some really good work with Tavish with Our Raw Material. That's also a channel you can subscribe to, talking about the balance between the ego and soul. So instead of soul being higher self and ego being lower self, it's more of a horizontal, more of a spectrum, even a scale that gives us energy, that gives us our voice, and also protects us as well. So this is Quan out, new moon, new beginnings, earth, tangible, you matter.